From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Family members of a murder victim speak out for the first time. I'm Holly Brantley with an update on Bozeman's only unsolved homicide.
The weather's not the only thing warming up. The Central Valley Fire Department has a levy on the May 4th ballot, and coming up, I'll tell you everything you might want to know before voting.
Just ahead of 6:30 on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Chet Lehman, Holly Brantley, Matt Elwell. Sun making its appearance here in the southwest Montana. Beautiful day after that full moon last night. Oh, gorgeous start to your Tuesday.
Can't tell the difference. The moon this morning, I thought I overslept. Now the sun's heading up. It's about the same amount of light, it seems like.
Really,
anyway.
yeah, that's for sure.
Morning temperatures into the teens in or 20s and 30s. No teens so far. 19 or 20 degrees out toward West Yellowstone. I'm so used to saying teens in West Yellowstone. That's where I'm stuck. Skies are going to be pretty clear for most of the day. Again, a beautiful morning, a beautiful sunrise. It looks like our daytime temperature should be near the 60-degree mark through the afternoon today for Bozeman. A little cooler in Butte, but definitely mild. We do have some warmer temperatures on the way. Could be into the 80s by the end of the week. Break it all down for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Matt. It is now 6:30. Our top story, 36 years after the murder of their brother, a Haver family still waiting for answers.
Randy Church was just 23 when he was shot and killed while working at the Bozeman Pizza Hut back in 1985. Now, his siblings are calling on the community for information that will lead to the killer, bringing justice for their brother and peace for the family.
Somebody out there knows something somewhere. They got to.
Ruby Burney says not a day goes by that she doesn't struggle with the question, who would kill her little brother Randy and why?
I don't understand why. What was so important that you had to kill him?
Her brothers Rick and Bob Church say it's a mystery that haunts them as well.
I don't have a clue.
The three siblings joined me via Zoom from their homes across the country to call on the public for information that would solve the mystery of their brother's murder. Randy Church was working as a shift supervisor at the Bozeman Pizza Hut on February 10th, 1985, when an unknown gunman entered the restaurant and shot him.
If they're still around, they need to pay the price.
A price they say should have been paid many years ago.
Yeah, I think had we known that this was not going to be solved for so long, I think we would have done things a lot different.
In fact, it's the Bozeman Police Department's only unsolved killing, a case with more questions than answers. Questions like, why would someone kill a 23-year-old college student? Somebody that, according to family and detectives, was a well-liked, good student, a young man with no known enemies, and a bright future ahead.
I personally think that whoever killed him knew him. And I think that that person knew he was there.
It's theories like Ruby's investigators and the family all want answer to. They are hopeful that now a combination of old clues and new technology could bring them some answers. They're also hopeful that a $10,000 reward might inspire someone to come forward with information about what happened here.
If you know something, you ought to be coming forward. You gotta be coming forward.
Yeah.
Somebody knows something. They've got to. And we just want answers.
Ruby and her brothers tell me their parents died never knowing what happened to their son. They say now more than ever they need to know what happened in order to finally allow the entire Church family to truly rest in peace. They are pleading with the public and investigators to keep Randy's memory alive until this case is solved.
I mean, imagine if someone was taken away from you and someone knows something about it, you'd want them to speak up too, because it's totally wrong. I mean, someone taken away for no freaking reason is totally wrong.
I need you guys to solve this case. He deserves it. His brothers and sisters deserve it. And his parents deserve it. So we're counting on you. I know you're trying. Just please, please, don't give up.
In Bozeman, Holly Brantley, MTN News. Now, Detective Benjamin King and Detective Sergeant Joseph Swanson with the Bozeman Police Department say this case had a huge impact on the community and on the police department. Police tell me right now they are diligently working every single lead, calling for new clues and looking for fresh information. If you have information, you can contact the Bozeman Police Department cold case tip line at 406-582-2025 or coldcasetips@bozeman.net. Tipsters can remain anonymous and may be eligible for a $10,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest in this case. All of this information, as well as part 1 of the story, are available right now on our website.
6:34 now on the legislative scene. One of the major bills of the 2021 legislature to implement recreational marijuana in the state had a bit of a roller coaster ride yesterday in the Montana House. When it was all over, the bill was right back actually where it started. House members initially voted 53-47 to reject House Bill 701 and send it to a conference committee, where a half dozen lawmakers would try to fashion a bill acceptable to conservatives who voted against it. But about an hour and a half later, bill sponsor Mike Hopkins of Missoula asked the House to reconsider its action, and that motion passed 56-43. That means the compromise bill will be back before the House today for another attempt to pass it, send it on to the governor. Conservative Republicans in the House spoke against the bill Monday, saying it does not safeguard the public or properly direct tax revenue from marijuana sales.
Republican Governor Greg Gianforte on Monday signed a trio of bills to restrict or increase regulation of abortion in Montana. Gianforte signed the bills Monday under a sunny afternoon sky near the front steps of the Capitol and in front of scores of supporters of the bills. 2 laws passed by the legislature's Republican majority essentially ban abortion after 20 weeks of pregnancy and greatly restrict the distribution of abortion-inducing drugs. A third law requires that any woman considering an abortion must be given the chance to view an ultrasound of the fetus. The sponsors of the bills and many Republican lawmakers also joined Gianforte for Monday's signing ceremony.
In addition to being a beautiful day here in Montana, it's a promising day, a day that will go down in our state's history as we defend life. Today we're taking action to protect the most vulnerable amongst us, the unborn. We are celebrating life. And I'd like to thank the countless individuals who have made today possible.
Opponents of the laws say they violate Montana's strict right to privacy and have promised to file suit to overturn them.
Well, the Central Valley Fire Department asking voters to renew a current levy that pays for career firefighters.
Without the passing of the levy, Gallatin Valley residents could see much slower response times to emergencies. MTN's Annie Johnson reports.
If you have an emergency, whether it's fire related or not, a majority of the time your local fire department is the first one on the scene.
Could have had acres burn. I don't like to think about what could have happened.
What could have happened if Central Valley Fire didn't show up quickly whenever a fire broke out at Pierce's home a couple of weeks ago.
We had done some burn piles. We had our permits. We were all legal. And we thought they were dead out. We had been tending them for 8 days.
The family went out of town, and when they came back,
a couple of them had come back to life with the high winds. It was a really windy Sunday. I mean, really windy, very high winds. And we had fire.
Central Valley firefighters quickly put out the fire. Now they're asking for your help on May 4th.
Central Valley Fire District is asking our voters to renew a mill levy that expires this year. It is 10 mills, and it's used for career firefighters.
The levy wouldn't increase your taxes because it's not a new levy, but what it does increase is the station's ability to arrive to emergencies faster.
We are targeting being able to arrive at your emergency within 7 minutes. And that requires career staffing to be able to do that.
Staffing that includes both volunteer and career firefighters.
Central Valley Fire District is the largest fire district in the county, and we're running over 2,000 calls a year. We do not only structure fires, but we do ambulance transport, we do wildland firefighting, we do rescue work. If you remember last fall, we had the Bridget Canyon fire. That was all hands on deck. All fire departments in the county responded to that.
And now the department needs residents to respond to the levy.
So many of these things we take for granted until they're not there, right? And then you think, oh my God.
May 4th is right around the corner, so if you haven't received your ballot yet, or if there are any issues, you need to contact your local elections office immediately. Reporting in Gallatin County, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
6:38 now on the national scene. This week, President Biden will deliver his first address to Congress, where he's expected to push for infrastructure and police reform, among other topics.
But as our Joe St. George explains, this address will look nothing like speeches in the country that we've ever seen before.
For years, President Joe Biden listened to presidents give speeches to Congress, but on Wednesday, he'll be the one doing the talking.
But don't expect this presidential address to Congress to look like State of the Unions from yesteryear. COVID has changed everything.
Big change number one, not every member of Congress is invited. Usually the House chamber is packed. Every member is there and they get to bring a guest. Not in 2021. Congressional leadership will decide who gets to attend. Big change number two, no handshaking or hugs.
Madam Speaker, the President of the United States!
Usually when presidents enter, hugs and handshakes are common, and while nothing will stop applause, COVID is still limiting anything that isn't socially distanced. Big change number three, women take center stage. Well, sort of. Sitting behind the president when speeches like this are given are always the vice president and speaker of the House, and for the first time in history, both will be women. And big change number four, Republicans won't be the only party giving a rebuttal speech. While Republican Senator Tim Scott has been picked to give the official Republican response, progressives have elected to deliver their own speech too. Democratic Congressman Jamal Bowman from New York has been tasked. All of this will be taking place under strict security. The Capitol Police on high alert. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
And I believe that speech coming up tomorrow.
Indeed.
Yep.
We will keep you posted on that one.
Yep.
Well, meantime, the FBI has new stats on gun sales in the United States, and it shows the trend continues. Coming up, learn who is buying guns in this latest surge.
But first, here's Gail King with a look at what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, the Health and Human Service Secretary will tell us about the new COVID mask guidelines expected later today. Plus, why some people are missing their second vaccine shot. That's not good. And what this means for the push to reach herd immunity. And in our Eye on Earth series, we'll show you how seaweed could become part of your next meal and help combat climate change. And first on CBS This Morning, we like when that happens. I'm going to say it again. First on CBS This Morning, Oprah talks to us about her new book, How Negative Childhood Experiences Shape Who We Are, plus what we can do about that. We'll see you 7 o'clock on the dot.